All right, guys, welcome in. It is time for Total Bases two-man show today. Bryan Leonard has a doctor's appointment. He will be back tomorrow with us. So TB and I are holding it down today. We've got two games to talk about, maybe some takeaways from yesterday's game and a look ahead to tomorrow. I will say I got to address two things, TB. Someone in the comments is like, Trig, you wear the same shirt every day. And I said, you know what? Our great home office got these really nice polos and sent me about 5 of them and said, hey, you're the host. We want our hosts wearing the Wager Talk, gear. So I've been wearing them at pretty much on a daily basis. But TB, I said, once it's college basketball season, like I can't do that because part of my bit is wearing all the gear that I accumulate from all these different campuses. So I said, you know what? Person in the chat that commented on my wardrobe, I said, it's almost time. We're less than a month away from college basketball. Time to bust out some of the gear. So today I went with the UMass Lowell Riverhawks hoodie, TB. Have you ever been to Lowell, Mass? Have you ever been to Massachusetts at all?
I have been to Boston one time, but it was a long time ago on a business trip. East Coast, I've only been to the East Coast one time, and it was that same business trip. I went to DC, New York City, and Boston. And actually, I also have a friend in Hagerstown, Maryland, so I've been to Maryland as well. So
very nice. Yeah, Lowell's about an hour from Boston. I would say that's probably their redeeming quality is the accessibility from Boston. I don't know if I feel like I need to go back, but hey, it was I like each campus for what it is. Very old, small gym that they had, and I went to one of their playoff type games, and it was awesome. Great atmosphere. So shout out Lowell, Mass. And
you are
TB, let's talk.
Yeah, you're very active in the college basketball scene, going from arena to what are you trying to like hit every single arena in America before you're
at some
you're
point
90?
Before I die. Yeah, at some point. So I think I'm at
like
65.
2 years ago, you went on a tour. You were like a different place, like every 2 days or something. It was crazy.
Oh yeah, we'll be doing that this year as well. So if you're in the chat, we're gonna BS for a second because we want to make sure people have time to get in. I know we just put the link up. We are doing a show today. We will be with you every weekday. So just some confusion on the schedule, I'll clear up. Every weekday that we have Major League Baseball games, we'll be doing a total basis. So that's for the rest of the year. So you can plan on total bases as long as there's games. If we get a day where there's no games, then we won't have a show. But yeah, TB, I'll be all around. I'm at 65 different Division I college arenas, campuses, if you will, and I'm doing a bunch more this year.
65.
So if I'm ever out and you're in town and I'm in your town, hit me up. We'll get you out to a game. I've probably met 10 or 15 different Wager Talk folks that like client subscribers just in my travels. Last year, Steven Lambert, shout out Steven. He came to Grand Canyon with me. We had a great time. Met another one of our followers in Akron. Like it's been fun. So I'll see you guys out. I did, TB. Yeah, I actually did last year. I did Grand Canyon. I did Northern Arizona, which is up in Flagstaff. Have you been to Flagstaff?
Yeah. It's about 2 hours from Phoenix. Yeah. I've been there a couple times. You know, the altitude there is crazy. My dad, before he passed away, he had a cabin up there, and I went with him to his cabin, and I couldn't sleep because I couldn't breathe. The altitude was crazy. I was like trying to go to sleep. It was crazy.
It's funny that you say that because I went, so I think it was there in January. I landed in Phoenix. It was still pretty nice in Phoenix. I got to Flagstaff. It was like cold, like real cold. Like
it's
it was
totally different. Yeah. Flagstaff's way up in the mountains. People like go up there to like ski and stuff. Yeah. It's 2 hours from Phoenix, but it's night and day. It's like, it's closer to Utah than it is Phoenix. So, yeah.
So what I did was I did Phoenix. I drove to Flagstaff. I then drove to Albuquerque, New Mexico, which is awesome. Highly recommend Albuquerque. And then I drove back to Phoenix. So I did 3. That's kind of what I'm going for, like 3 games in 3 days. I'll probably do that a bunch this year. And one more promo, 2 promos. One, it's $5 Tuesday. So keep an eye out on the site. Every play that we make today is going to be up for $5. 2, I'm going to have a college basketball show very similar to this show. It'll be myself, Brian Power, and Rob Vino, and we're going to basically do the same thing. Just kick around college basketball games for an hour until they say get off. The next show's got to start. So that's the plan. 3, TB. Slick Vic in the chat says, I think his favorite team is Siena. That is correct. I don't have many favorite teams. I really don't have one in any sport except for college basketball, because of course I went to Siena. So I got to rep the alma mater right there. So yes, that would be my favorite team. I try not to let that creep into the handicapping, but I can't lie. It's tough to root against them.
I went to
TB.
Arizona.
Go ahead.
So of course I like their basketball and football, but not a lot to cheer for. But yeah, since when you're a professional capper, you have to separate that from everything else. The first NFL game I ever went to was actually a Tampa Bay game. So I was like 6 years old. I visited my friend in Tampa and we went to a Tampa Bay game. The Orange Unis, I fell in love with them. So I've been a Tampa Bay fan ever since I was.
Did you see they brought them back this weekend? The Orange Unis were back.
Awesome. They did the white ones. Looked really cool too.
I agree.
Love it. Baker Mayfield looks great.
I couldn't agree more. It's time for I'm all for like a total change back to those for Tampa Bay. Those
I agree. And let's talk about baseball uniforms for a minute. If you go back to the 80s, baseball uniforms were so much better back then, you know, like the Braves when they were light blue with the red A, and you know, even the Pirates with Kent Tekulve with the wicked striped caps and stuff. And uniforms were so good. Why did they get all whitewashed and everyone's like gray and black now? It's so lame.
That's the Kent Tekulve reference. I actually had a kid, so I was talking yesterday. We host summer league kids here. That's my father-in-law has been doing it for years. We have a summer league college team in Sherrill, New York, and one of the kids, I believe, went to Marietta College in Ohio, and he comes in and he's like, our most famous baseball player is Kent Tekulve. And I was just like, not what I was expecting a 20-year-old to
He
say,
was like 60 pounds.
Yeah.
But he ripped it pretty good. Yeah.
Great reliever for the Pirates, if you don't know.
Yes, he was.
If you don't know who
he looked like a chemical scientist or something, but yeah. I got to give props to the Padres because they actually went back to their 70s uniforms recently, and they look much better brown and gold than they did in the Tony Gwynn era when they were like went to like gray and orange, kind of weird. So props to the Padres for going back to their 70s uniforms. Love it.
TB, and now we it looks like we've got the normal the normal contingent that's usually in at the start of the show. I just tweeted the link. We'll start talking some baseball, but that's all right. You know, we have a little bit of extra time today. But Slick Vic says, what team has the best chance of sweeping? And what I want to talk to you about so why don't we just kind of look back at yesterday? I ended up on the Brewers. I feel like you and I kind of both agreed Dodgers Brewers yesterday. They both hit.
We did.
I think one of those two teams, if not both, would be the team to sweep. What about you? Let's answer Slick Vic's question. Who do you think has the best chance for a sweep right here?
Best chance to sweep, I think, is the Dodgers because, man, they look good. And look, Dave Roberts proved why he's the worst manager in baseball. Why in the world would you put Blake Trinan in that situation? Actually, why is he even on the roster for the wild card series? I mean, or for this series? He had like an 8+ ERA in the regular. I mean, as a manager, you are not a shrink for these players. You don't put them in games to get their head right. You're managing the team to win the game. There was no reason to put Blake Trinan in that situation. Vesia is much better pitcher. Vesia actually looked pretty shaky too. I had to take him out and finish it with Roki, but I think the Dodgers have the best chance. I know the Phillies are a juggernaut. They're a really good team, but like we discussed yesterday, in the playoffs, your 6, 7, 8, 9 guys have to pick up the slack when your top 3 guys are not hitting. And I just don't think the Phillies 6, 7, 8, 9 guys are able to do that. Like Marsh and those guys. Look, you know, the Dodgers, you got Hernandez, you've got Pages, you've got Will Smith, the second best catcher in MLB, is hitting like 8 in that lineup. It's just that their 6, 7, 8, 9 are just so much better than the Phillies, in my opinion.
Huge for Will Smith to be back for the Dodgers. I don't think that's gotten enough attention. That is massive I believe it was
Second best catcher in MLB. Yeah.
Yeah, I think an 850 OPS against left-handed pitching, which is huge. I think Ben Workbeat was the guy getting most of those at bats. I mean, that's night and day. And then of course
Yes,
you
it is.
talk about it in the context of like a Dodgers team that already has an embarrassment of riches, right? I mean, you already got Ohtani, you already have Freeman, Mookie Betts, and then to get another player of that caliber back. I think to answer,
I'm gonna highlight this comment here, because I don't think Nola has been himself this season. So I'm gonna disagree with you, Steve-O. I don't think Nola's been himself.
I think Steve-O's saying because of Nola, the Dodgers have the best chance.
Maybe
Steve-O, clarify that in the comments. The way I read that was he thinks the Dodgers have the best chance to sweep because he's okay going against Nola.
Yeah. I mean, Nola's a good pitcher. Nola's a good pitcher, but he hasn't been himself this season. Like last year, he's pretty shut down. I wouldn't say he was elite, but he was on the precipice of being elite. And this season, I mean, I think he's been injured off and on. And yeah, he has been injured a little bit off and on. I just don't think he's been himself. I think Yamamoto has an advantage, but we'll get to this game later on. But
I think I think that the question itself.
Okay, there we go. He clarified it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I agree with you, Steve. I think with Nola and Yamamoto, I think So you're agreeing with me. Got it. Okay.
The odds would suggest that it's a pretty much a no-brainer. You're going to have Yamamoto at home. Dodgers will be favored. The odds certainly suggest that is the series most likely to end in the sweep. I could see the Cubs maybe getting one at home, but I will go back. There's another gentleman in the chat commented like, man, this Brewers team, like they're just different. Like I kind of agree that yesterday on the video our replay video, we had one of our followers jumped in and did a great like sort of analysis of like this Brewers team in comparison to like the Brewers team from maybe like last year, or just how they're much more of a contender. I thought that was great. You can find that on the replay of yesterday's show. And I just want to say to that person, I very much agree. I had a couple friends that were at those games in Milwaukee last night and then 2 days ago. And from all accounts, it feels different than last year. So again, I wouldn't be surprised if the Brewers swept, but I think I could see maybe the Cubs stealing game 3 at Wrigley. But I do think that those two, I think we're going to see a Brewers-Dodgers NLCS. I think I'm confident in saying that.
Yeah, the thing about the Brewers, like we said it on the show yesterday, we were both right about the Dodgers, and we were kind of both right about the Brewers. We predicted that Imanaga would struggle. What was it, like 6 games in a row? He gave up 2 or more home runs, and we thought he would struggle. I had the Brewers team total in the first 5, which cashed in the second inning.
Bottom of the first inning.
There were 6 runs in the first inning. Yeah. So, but what is it about these Brewers? Let's talk about them for a second, because I went on a rant pre-All-Star and I said the Brewers season is done. Wow, I was wrong. But let's face it, they don't really have a lot of stars on this team. So are they overperforming, or are they really this good? That's what I want to ask.
No, I just think that their collection of players is 1 through 9, they have great at bats. They have a ton of team speed. They have, I think they have the right mix of pitching in a lot of cases where, like last night, when we talked about the game on the show, they didn't even, I don't even think they didn't need to burn Priester, because I felt like the plan was, all right, let's see how far you can get with Ashby, and then we'll kind of mix and match. A couple people in the comments said, well, we think Priester will be the bulk guy. I was like, maybe, but like I don't think they have their mind made up. They bring him Jacob Mizorowski coming out of the bullpen throwing 102. I mean, and then it's amazing. Like, and then they're going to be able to come back with Priester in game 3. Obviously not having Woodruff in this series, like I suppose hurts a little bit, but they're very deep and will make the parallel. The Brewers remind me a lot of a team that we're going to talk about today. So we'll make the segue into today's games. I will say this. I think the drama is going to come from the American League. I think the drama is going to come from the American League, and we're going to start in Detroit today. And what I was going to tell you, Tokyo Brandon, is I think the Brewers and the Tigers are very similar, where they don't really have the superstars. You're almost like, you look at them and you're like, how are they still here? Why are they still a contender? How might they end up in the ALCS or NLCS respectively? But then you just look at, they're very well coached. They're very deep. And I think the coaching and the depth are the two things that can win you a playoff series. When maybe you don't have the superior talent. That's
Mhm.
kind of how I feel about Tigers Mariners. Like, there's no question in my mind the Mariners are more talented,
Yes, they
but
are.
this Tigers team is deep. They've got a lot of pitching and they have a great coach. And now they're
Yep.
kind of in the driver's seat, in my opinion. 1-1. The series is back in Detroit and they're back at home. So talk to me about Mariners Tigers and what you're seeing.
Yeah. So of all the series that are left, I think this one's the tightest, actually, as far as
Absolutely.
talent. But you're right. I think Seattle has the better lineup. And Seattle, I thought, like mid-season, I thought they were kind of one of those teams of destiny. A team that you don't expect to be in the World Series, but they end up going there, like the Diamondbacks a couple years ago, like the Marlins a couple years ago.
Sure.
One of those teams, like a little guy who beats the giant, right? I thought they were looking like that, but losing Wu for the playoffs is tough. That's tough because that's why they lost the game yesterday. If Wu was healthy, they would have started him yesterday, I imagine, not Castillo. But man, these two teams are tight, and it's not a real complicated cap here. I think you take the underdog in every game here. Plus money means something in this series, I think. So both of these pitchers kind of get knocked around by the other batters throughout their career. Neither one of them have a really good OPS career-wise against the batters they're facing. And you look at the Tigers' home record, hard to argue with, 46-35. The Mariners actually have a losing record on the road. So I think Tigers with plus money is good value. I haven't put it out as a play, but I mean, I think either team getting plus money in this series, I think, is value. Whether you win the bet or not, it's definitely the right side, in my opinion. Gilbert, you would think, oh, Gilbert's better than Flaherty right off the bat. And you think, oh, well, Seattle's lineup is packed with Rodriguez and the best catcher in MLB. They added Suarez, or they got Suarez back from the Diamondbacks. But man, Tigers are a similar team. I mean, similar to the Brewers. I mean, not quite as good, but they're one of those teams that you don't know a lot of the names in the lineup, but they just play well. They're scrappy. I hate that word scrappy, but they are scrappy. I think with the pitchers kind of equal here, I don't know. I think either team getting plus money is value. And today the Tigers are getting plus money at home. They're 46-35 at home. Hard to argue with that.
Hey, I mean, if you played the plus money angle in this series so far, you're 2-0. The Tigers won as an underdog in game 1.
Right.
And then the Mariners turned around and won as an underdog and won game 2 and beat Scooble. Couple things here. Josh Naylor, he's not playing tonight. His wife's about to give birth and he's going to go and he's taking the paternity leave. That's really tough for the Mariners. Like, I listen, I'm not going to comment on that. I think he's entitled to do that if he wants to. But let's be honest though. That is regardless. Forget about like whether you think he should or not. Like that's irrelevant. The reality is he's a massive part of that Mariners lineup, especially against a right-handed pitcher like Flaherty. And now you're not going to have him in the lineup. So you are already talking, TB, how tight this series is. I think that is a massive loss for the Mariners in this game. Regardless of like that, to not have him against Flaherty is a big blow to the Mariners lineup. Not saying they can't overcome it, but it's very, very, it's very relevant, I think, to like maybe, who has the edge in this game. The other thing
if
that I think
was healthy, though, I think Seattle might even sweep this series.
Right. So that's the other thing.
Yeah.
I talked about this yesterday with the Phillies. I said there's no way that the Phillies can overcome not having Zach Wheeler in a playoff series. I almost think it's similar to the Mariners. Like, Bryan Wu is their best pitcher. I know you've got Logan Gilbert. We'll talk about him in a second. I know you've got, when Bryce Miller or George Kirby is on, they can be very good. But Bryan Wu is the best pitcher on in this rotation. You take him out.
He's number 3.
In my opinion, he's number 1.
He's the best number 3 guy in MLB, hands down.
Right. So that's the other thing here. The Mariners technically would have their ace on the mound tonight, or at least to everyone. And I think they consider their number one. It's Logan Gilbert. But like, I've seen more things to dislike about Gilbert this season than Woo. So when I'm looking at Logan
Agreed.
Gilbert, I see that hard hit rate really starting to creep up. Average exit velo for Logan Gilbert this year, bottom 10% in the league. That's concerning to me. It's because, and I think it's because, so I'll go back. I've said this a couple times. I think you're going to see Logan Gilbert have surgery in the offseason. I think he is giving his absolute all, pitching through the injury that he went on the IL with earlier this year. And I think he's leaving it all out there. And I think in the offseason, you'll end up seeing him have surgery that may actually cost him the start of next year. I think it explains, because remember, this guy, when he's on, go back to 2024, 208 innings, 220 strikeouts, a 0.89 whip. And then 2023 was almost, it was kind of similar in that regard. This year, the numbers are still good, but the ERA has creeped up a little bit. Of course, we don't care about ERA. He's still getting the strikeouts, and he's not putting a ton of guys on base because he's got good command. He doesn't walk many batters, but it feels like when he misses, it's out over the plate, and that's why the hits are hard. Because remember, you get the low whip. He's not giving up a ton of base runners, but the exit velo being where it is, it means when he is giving up a hit, it's usually a rocket somewhere. In these types of series, like one or two big hits, you go back to like the way that this Mariners team is constructed, they have like no left-handed pitching. That really helps Green, and it really helps Kerry Carpenter, which is why I think the Tigers kind of have the edge in this series. So I'm not disagreeing with you. I think the dog is the way to look here.
And I would also lean to an over in this one because it's kind of a unwritten rule. Oh, Flaherty's great at home. But if you look at his splits, he has a better ERA at home, but it's still like 4. It's not great. I think we're gonna see an over in this one as well, because I don't really like the Tigers bullpen that much. But in the playoffs, when you get a day off, everyone gets rested. You can use your best guys. This game is pivotal because it's tied 1-1. So you can bet they're going to use their best arms. But I think the starters get hit a little bit here.
Yeah, I could absolutely see that. I'll comment. So, Steve-O, here's the thing. It's not my job to comment on whether what my opinion is on him missing the game. I truly, I'm not even going to. It's irrelevant to me. What my job is to evaluate the guys that we're going to have on the field and try to handicap the game. I don't care what. So if you want to talk about, like, I think the locker room has his back 100%. Julio Rodriguez was talking a little bit. I think the locker room is very supportive of him. I don't care what his reason is or what the reason is. Him not being in the lineup hurts the Mariners here. I don't care how you look at it. It does not matter why he's not here. His absence against Jack Flaherty, which would be a very good matchup for him, is an advantage Tigers. Doesn't matter the reason. So, and I think the locker room very much has his back. I think it's one of those things where they're fired up for him. They'll band together. I'm just saying, like, that's a hole in the lineup that it now needs to be filled. Yeah. And I don't think the guy filling it, I don't think the replacement player, I wish Bryan was here because he'd have that chart up on Fangraphs ready to reference it. The replacement player is not going to be as quality as Naylor, who's got, like, what was he, top 10 in the league in batting average for most of the year. Probably a great matchup against Flaherty. So that hurts.
Nope, on the human side, your child's only born one time, and 4 years from now, Seattle's probably not going to remember this game. So,
right. And for us, though,
it's the right decision to go watch your kid get born.
But that's not our job is not to care.
Cappers. We don't care. The fact that he's out means Seattle has a disadvantage today. That's all. Turnbuckle
Tommy, I'm with you. This is another thing that really should be brought up before we move on. Gilbert hasn't been as good on the road, and that is, to me, like, going back to Detroit. This is a fan base that thought this is a fan base. This is, I think, another good point here too. They thought they were going to win the division. Like, it was pretty much a foregone conclusion that the Tigers were going to win the division. They didn't. What does that mean? Their team had to go to Cleveland and win a 3-game series. Then they had to go to Seattle. This will be their first home game of the postseason. I think that crowd is going to be an 11 out of 10. I think you are going to get a very, very fired up atmosphere. And one of my big criticisms, TB, of the Mariners this year was when they got on the road, specifically on the East Coast in some of these like hotter environments, and they struggled. I'll point to that Phillies series because I think I took 2 losses in that series on the Mariners. To use one of your, what do you say? They puked on the mound or something. Like,
Yeah,
that's what happened.
Yeah.
Gilbert got rocked in that series, and that was like that. They went to that series in Philly. Of course, every game in Philly, pretty much the playoff atmosphere. They almost always sell out, and they got swept in that series. Yeah, and I don't know. I don't remember what happened in the Red Sox series, but I do remember the Mariners struggling. Typically, they struggle at Yankee Stadium, Fenway. It's a tough spot for them. I think this is a tough matchup, tough spot. I don't know if I'll get to the window with the Tigers here necessarily, but it's certainly the way I lean. It'll be a thought for me all day. And I wouldn't be surprised if that plus 120 or plus 115 turns into more like plus 105.
I still have a bad taste in my mouth from Wu. I backed him one day. He went to New York Yankee Stadium and he barfed on the mound one time during the season. But that being said, every pitcher has a bad game. Scooble's had a bad game. They all have a bad game. So, but that still I still have a bad taste in my mouth from that one. That was hard to swallow. I think I had a 5% play on him that day. So. Anyways.
But yeah, I'm totally with you, TB. The value in this series pretty much is regardless is going to be on the underdog because you're going to have the Tigers. You're going to have the Tigers home the next 2 days. If they don't take care of the series here, they will be underdogs. Or I'm sorry, the Mariners will then likely be a Game 5 underdog at home against Scooble, which we've already seen that they can beat him. So yeah.
And just some betting advice, but another way to bet an underdog if you're not confident to take them on the side would be a team total as well. So underdogs, usually their team total will be 3.5 or 1.5 in the first 5. Certainly attainable for the Tigers here.
I don't hate the first 5 over angle. I don't think that's a horrible look. What do you? Because you said you would.
4 when I checked it, but you can get a 3. You can get a 3.5 for about minus 130, and you can get a 4 for about plus 100. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say I see 4. I see reduced vig 4s, which means 3.5 is gonna be juiced. But like, you got to think too, like the way in which the Mariners tend to score their runs is obviously, like we've talked about it all season, via the home run, the long ball. And, Flaherty can be good, but I don't think anyone in this Mariners lineup can't potentially take him deep. So I do think you're potentially looking at like a crooked number there somewhere. And I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that Logan Gilbert's going to pitch well here. I could see the Tigers getting on him. And I'll go back to
I see
Turbo
the Tigers
comment.
Scoring on him. I can see it. I can see it.
Yeah, and what's that? I mean, even full game, 7.5 on the total seems a little bit light. I don't think this is going to be a. So, what were the first 2 games in the series? I know we had a 3-2. Were they both 3-2?
Both 3-2.
I like the over. I'll make that statement. I think this is the game in this series. You might see some runs, whether they come early or whether they come late. I think you see some runs here. That is my thought with this one.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's go on. We disagreed about this a little bit yesterday. I want to start by saying, like, so this is the other one that could end in a 3-game sweep. I think the Yankees still have a chance to win this series. I really do. And I think right now, so yesterday when we brought it up, they were 5-1 most places. I think that you got to shop around. I saw some plus 425s. I saw some places high as 525. Plus 450. Obviously, these future series prices are going to be different everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I think the Yankees have such a chance, the reason I think they have more than a 5-1 chance to win this series is they will have the pitching edge in every single game the rest of the way. So you look at this, they're going to have the edge pitching in all 3 games, because you're going to clearly they have an edge here. They're a minus 155 favorite at home. So whether you think Bieber's better or not, the books are not going to be wrong at this point, right? So they're telling you that the Yankees have a slight edge here. And I think I'll ask you this when I kick it over to you. I think their bullpen, even with like some of the guys like Weaver, who you don't like, and like still has better numbers, and they're probably a better bullpen than the Blue Jays. So you're
How
looking
could you
at
like him?
yeah, I'm just saying, like, how could but the Blue Jays have a team bullpen ERA of like 6 since like July 1st, or at least they did in the regular season. And they haven't, that's the other thing. They haven't had a high leverage inning in the playoffs yet. The Blue Jays have not been in a single high leverage bullpen spot because they blew it open the first 2 games. So, and the leverage spot in the first game, if you remember, was Gossman, who struck out Aaron Judge, I think, with the bases loaded. So it wasn't a bullpen guy.
And no outs.
Yeah, so it wasn't
Choker.
a bullpen guy.
Wussy with a P.
So you got so you potentially have Yankees here, Schlittler tomorrow, and then you're probably looking at Max Fried in Game 5, who would be a favorite against anyone the Blue Jays throw out there. Yes, he had a tough Game 2, but it's very likely. I mean, if the Yankees season is on the line, I'm pretty sure they're coming back with Fried in Game 5. Like I think he'll be on regular rest. But even if he was on 4 days, I think they're going back with him Game 5, season on the line. So that would be like the bet I'm going to give out right now. Like I think Yankees series price right now, 5-1, 4-1, 5-1. Obviously, shop it around is a bet I'm willing to make. But I'm going to give you a chance to tell me if you agree, disagree, and obviously let me know how you're seeing this one tonight.
Don't forget, guys, it's $5 Tuesday. My play is already up. And I have a free play up in EuroLeague basketball as well. My 5% play, my $5 play is baseball, MLB. So first, before I address that, let me ask you a question. Do you think young guys like Yasavage and Schlittler can repeat greatness like they had in their first? Because both of them went like 7 innings. Savage went 5 1/3, and he had a no-hitter going, and Schlittler gave up 1 run in 7 2/3 or something. He was just incredible. Do you think these young guys can repeat, or do you think they get tagged the second time around?
Here's the thing I think with young players like these two. I think when things are, I think there's an element of cockiness to some of these guys that have had, remember, they've had success every step of the way. So Trey Savage started in low A this year. I mean, obviously, a guy like that goes to an A ball and even double A, just mowing guys down, right? Even Schlittler. Yep. Schlittler he started at double A, was great. Got to Scranton for a minute, was awesome. They don't really know failure yet. So I think when like guys are really like, I just think that like, I mean, look at the confidence that Schlittler had in that Game 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
And look at like Savage. What did someone called time? I think it was maybe Caballero or someone called time on him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Grisham. I'm sorry, Grisham called time, and he just stood there. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't get off the mound, because right now they're cocky young kids that have a ton of talent. There will be a point in time, you can count on it, where their confidence gets knocked a little bit, and they go through a stretch,
adversity,
right? Where
adversity, yeah.
Look at Mizorowski. I mean, Mizorowski came up, he mowed dudes down for like 4 starts. He made an all-star team. He kind of had his stretch where he had to go back and question some things, but then you see the talent. Look at him last night. Comes out, he's throwing 102. Like, so to answer your question right now, until something bad happens, I think you can be pretty confident with those two. Mm-hmm. But when something bad does happen, they might not know how to handle it.
There will be some adversity, and it could be in their next start. Bases loaded with 1 out, jam, and you let a run in. That's adversity, and these guys probably aren't used to that.
Tommy, this is a good point, though. Connolly early was cruising, and by no fault of his own, got in trouble in that inning. And then it was like, Yeah, all of a sudden it was like, because remember, that inning was pretty much caused by his defense misplaying balls. There was
Yeah.
a fly ball that could have been caught. Rafaela was sort of out of position on a play where he could have thrown the ball to third instead of missing the ball completely. And yeah, and then so he kind of got, so it goes quick. So to answer your question, I think these younger guys, if Schlittler comes out and he looks like he's cruising, he's probably good till he's not. And then it's going to come down to the manager on how quickly you're willing to like pull the plug on that, I think.
Sounds good. I've been around these guys. I'll tell you, nothing throws them off their mental rhythm more than an error or an out that they should have had. How many times have you been watching baseball where the guy's got 2 outs, nobody on base, an error, the guy gets to second base, boom, he gets knocked in. It's the pitcher's constantly thinking that should have been an out, that should have been an out, even though it's not earned. It pisses them off. Nothing throws them off their game like an error, believe me. And the Yankees are very error prone. So, okay, back to the discussion. I'm kind of changing my tune from yesterday. I said the Yankees are cooked. Actually, looking at the game today, you're right. If they can win this game, they're definitely back in the series. I don't know if they can win it. But look, the Blue Jays don't really have the greatest bullpen in the world. They're decent enough to get them by. Let's face it, that what's got them to where they're at is their offense. And even their starting rotation, nothing to write home about. It's serviceable, right? So looking at today's matchup, you say very confidently that Yankees have the pitching advantage. I agree to a certain degree, but if you look at Bieber's numbers against these Yankees in his history, he's mowed them down. I mean, he's mowed them down. Now, I don't have split stats to tell me if that was like years ago or if it's recent, because that kind of does matter. And I don't think Bieber's the best pitcher in the world, but you got to take that into consideration that he's going to have a little confidence going into this. But Yankees are a great home team. You can't deny a team that's 50-31 at home. Rodon is an excellent home pitcher, and his stats against these guys pretty good. So, yeah, I think this will be a tight one. I mean, up to now, it's been the Blue Jays scored 23 runs in 2 games, and the Yankees scored 7 the last game and won the first game or whatever. I think the runs are going to come down here. I think when you change venues, it puts a totally different mask on the series. And I think everything's going to calm down, and we're probably looking at unders here. It's going to be a tight game. And obviously the Yankees have the better pitcher, but be careful because Bieber has really good numbers against these batters. So, proceed with caution if you're going to take the Yankees here.
Jake says, no twisted teas this morning, Trig. I must have drank something one day that looked like a twisted tea. I do have I am back on my energy drink grind right here. I'm going with a white gummy bear rain this morning, TB. But like, I got to be honest. I think it's been about a decade. I don't think I've had a twisted tea since about 2016. I can remember my last twisted tea, because first of all, it's not something I would really ever drink, but I'm fairly certain the last twisted tea I had was at Saratoga Racecourse when I still lived there. So I haven't lived in Saratoga since 2018. So that's how long it's been since I had a twisted tea. So I don't know what I drank that looked like a twisted tea, but no, it is. I'm not on TB's schedule. He can come in and have a cocktail at the end of his night. It is 9 a.m. on the East Coast, so no twisted tea for me. But I do have my Rain Total Body Fuel going this morning. And you know why I drank? You know why I went with this one, TB? Because I had it yesterday and I went 2-0. So I'm just trying to retrace my steps.
We can talk about superstitions as well for professional cat. I try not to be superstitious, but yeah, you kind of can't help it when you do this for a living, right? You kind of tend to use the same bath towel a couple days in a row when you're on a winning streak or something, just stupid little things like that. Wear the same color socks or something. But regarding alcohol, a lot of you know me as a Fireball guy, but My refrigerator is Japanese plum liquor, which is called umesh in Japanese. I have Kahlua because I love Kahlua and cream, and then I have tons of Fireballs. So those are my liquors of choice. Anyways, little off.
The Mallory and I more or less, she's got me on like this health kick now. So if we're gonna have a drink, it's typically like Casamigos. Like that's like all that's I've had to like rid everything else out of my diet, but that's okay. I don't mind. I really don't. I really rarely drink. So
A lot of people don't know this, but I'm a lot of people don't know this, but I'm actually married, and my wife drinks zero alcohol, zero. So yeah, I usually drink alone, like George Thorogood.
Yeah. Well, Mallory's a lawyer, so they all drink. So I have to drink every once in a while. Yeah, every once in a while. But
Steve-O, I don't really like sake actually. It's okay, but not my thing. I like plum liquor much better than sake. So.
At any rate, let me get back to this because I do want to kind of counter your Bieber comments. Listen, here's why I say I feel like the Yankees have a pitching edge. I'm with you. I'm less talking like Rodon versus Bieber and more saying the books are not going to make a mistake at this point in the season, right? Like so like if the books are going to come out and price this Yankees minus 155, I have to at least think that if the Jays had any sort of real edge from a pitching standpoint here, the line would be different. Okay, like it would be you wouldn't see the Yankees creeping up to the minus 160 range if there was any like real edge from a pitching standpoint for the Blue Jays. I think it is fair to say that these two starting pitchers are somewhat even. You know, I think once you start getting into the splits and the way that they match up with certain teams, like that's a totally different ballgame. But you can't look at these two pitchers, Carlos Rodon, 2025 stats, 3.09 ERA, 1.05 whip. Expected batting average is 215. That's top 15% in the league. He's got one of the better whiff rates among starting pitchers in the league. Expected ERA is 3.32. You can't look at that and tell me that Shane Bieber is necessarily better. He might not be like worse.
I never said
certainly isn't. Right.
I agree with you that the Yankees have a pitching advantage. I agree with you. I'm not saying he's better.
But it is close because you got now Bieber's smaller sample. Remember, Shane Bieber only registered 40 and a third innings during the regular season. He was hurt the majority of the year. Yep. So you can look at that a couple different ways. You can look at that one, well, you know, maybe we're getting the vintage Shane Bieber, probably the guy that accumulated a lot of these numbers against the Yankees during his time with Cleveland, or he's like, we just don't have a big enough sample size. I'll tell you one thing that's a little concerning during the regular season, less than a strikeout per inning. That's a little bit concerning on the road against the Yankees. Another thing that concerns me a little is that, you know, he sits 92 on his fastball, throws it 40% of the time. I feel like these Yankees are going to take him deep a couple times. I think this lineup, you know, remember, he's a right-handed pitcher, so you're going to have the Ben Reich, Chisholm, like the lineup that they want in there. I feel like you're going to see a Yankees breakout on offense. I will probably find a way to play the Yankees. At worst, I'm going to play that series play. I'm going to sprinkle something on that 5-1 for them to win the series.
In Bieber's defense, yeah, his K rate's 8.17, so not terrible, but you're right, it's less than one per inning. I just like his stats against the Yankees. If anything, I would think of an under. Some people in the chat are saying the wind's blowing out, and the total's only 7.5, which seems low. I can't really argue with that either. If the Yankees put Nuke Weaver in, then you can at least bank on 2 runs for the Blue Jays in that situation. Also, the Yankees need to learn how to catch the ball. That would help. That's part of baseball, is catching the ball. So, yeah, those are 2 kind of opportunities to score runs here. But I think the first 5 under would be a good play if it's 4.5.
TS Fox is so right. He's like, dude, stop drinking the energy drinks. The energy drinks are so bad for you. He's not wrong. I've been sticking to the zero sugar like Rain, or I've done a little research, and it seems like Rain and Bang are the two sort of cleaner options. He's not wrong though. I do want to try Portnoy's new energy drink. It's called Phoenix. It's just not. I got to order some. It's not my area yet, but he's 100% right. I got to get off of this. Problem is, TB, I just can't function without the caffeine at this point. Like people like,
and you don't like
it's
coffee?
a long day. It's not, it doesn't hit the same. I've been trying the coffee. I've been trying, like, I was on a good stretch. Here's the problem. Over the summer when I didn't have as much to do, I was on a good stretch of coffee. Dude, I'm trying, it's a long day. I'm up early. We got Major League Baseball. I got college basketball in less than 3 weeks. You folks are gonna expect me to show up talking about, Bucknell Bison. I gotta be doing the work now. It's a long day. So right now I only do one a day though. I know some people that are so into these things, they'll do more than one. That's crazy to me. One of these and I won't go back for more. But TS, you're not wrong.
I drink Diet Dr. Pepper when I'm in Arizona. I drink Diet Dr. Pepper and I have like 3 of them a day. I know it's unhealthy, but out here I drink Coke Zero, maybe 2 or 3 of them a day. So I know it's not healthy.
I've been trying to stay away from those types of drinks. So I'm usually like energy drink in the morning. I try to drink water. I will mix in a coffee every once in a while, but
you're young. Anyway. You still have your life ahead of you. I'm 55. I don't give a crap. I'm going to die anyway. I don't care.
I'm not that far, but I'll be 40 in July. A lot of people think I'm like much younger.
Once you hit 50, you just don't care what anyone thinks, and you don't care if you're dead or alive. So
Tommy, he says Cafe Bustelo. Here's my other issue. I don't like hot coffee. The only coffee I've ever been able to drink is iced. So
iced coffee is from Japan, by the way. America didn't even have iced coffee. Japan kind of invented it, and now it caught on over there. But yeah, cold coffee tastes really good with some milk in it. Really good.
Yeah, that's the only way. That's the only way I can drink it. I literally did not drink coffee until like a year or two ago.
Matter of fact, my last trip out there a couple weeks ago, I got at Walmart, I got the Dunkin' Donuts like French vanilla coffee at Walmart and brought it back here. So she makes that, and I'll pour it in, put some ice, add some milk. Oh, it's so good. Really good stuff. Better than that.
I'm gonna have to. Adam Westbury says you can do Bustelo cold. I'll listen. I'm gonna look into this. I'm gonna look into this. I appreciate you guys concerned for my health with these energy drinks, because I'm with you. Mallory gives me a hard time. She gives me a look if she sees me opening one of these in the morning. She's like, "Thought we talked about this. Thought we weren't gonna do energy drinks anymore." And I'm just like,
coffee. Okay.
Told you. Is that like a good what is this? Is iced coffee? Is that like am I soft for going iced coffee? Can't drink an iced coffee?
Everyone likes
he said, I'll hold your purse. Anyway. So do you want
Adam? In essence, Adam, you like the Yankees in this game?
I do. That's the thing. No, that I really do. And I think I'm with you on the thought process of looking at an underdog in the Tigers Mariner series. And yeah, I'm pretty much like Yankees are bust at this point. At least just knowing the way this series is going to pan out, I think it would be hard for me to play against the Yankees until maybe Game 5 if it gets back to Toronto. I don't know that I'll come out. So to wrap this up, because I know we kind of, went off.
I have a question for you about baseball after you wrap this up.
Yeah. I guess to wrap up my handicap of this game, I don't know if I want to lay $1.55. Maybe I'll go the Tokyo Brandon route, look for a -1. I do think the Yankees, if they break out, it could be a crooked number, which makes me think that they could cover the -1. So maybe that's the route I'll go here. But I do, at worst, if I bet nothing else today, I will put a small bet on that 5-1 Yankees to win the series. I already played at one spot yesterday. I may add a little bit more if I can find another 5-1. Go ahead.
Here's a question for you. I think how much does their backs are against the wall factor into your capping? I personally don't really put that in professional sports because these guys are pros. and they're going to play hard no matter what. So the backs against the wall kind of thing doesn't really resonate with my capping. In college sports with the young kids, yes, I think it resonates a lot more in that situation. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I'm not putting as much stock into that. That's not a huge part of my handicap. Now, in the case of like Yankees Jays, like I do think so. I'll tell you this, TB. These 5-game series, I think you get 2-0, and I think it's more bettors and the media and maybe even the odds makers a little bit that sort of start to price it as it's like, oh, like, well, the series is basically over. It's
You
like,
gotta win one,
dude,
right?
2-0, one win for the Yankees here, and they're suddenly a home win away from a winner take all game 5. Like 2-0 is far from insurmountable, especially when the 2 losses came on the road. Like, all they have to do is hold serve at home. That's where I think the overreaction is. So it's less of a backs against the wall thing. If I like the way that this game set up for the Blue Jays more, I would have no problem betting the Blue Jays here. I just don't think that they've been tested yet. And I'd be surprised. Like, they're not going to go in my opinion, and blow open a game 3 on the road. If the Jays win tonight, they're going to have to grind out a win. And we've seen them struggle in leverage relief spots all year. Like I said, go back to July 1st. They're a bottom 10 bullpen in Major League Baseball. They didn't have a leverage spot in the first 2 games with their bullpen. So that's where I'm just like, hey, like, I think we're don't count the Yankees out just yet. Because I'll tell you what, the Bronx is as good of a baseball atmosphere I've ever been to. I've been many, many times. Tough place to win. So don't count the Yankees out just yet. That's what I'm saying.
Very good home team, that's for sure. And one thing about all those runs in the first 2 games was Toronto. Remember, at the beginning of the season, everyone was talking about how that's like a miniature park where people were just pasting the ball all over the place. So it's really no surprise that the first 2 games went over. I think that starts to calm down a little bit here in game 3.
Yeah, listen, you got a 7.5. I mean, it's really hard to tell how this game is going to go, in my opinion. From like, I don't think. Here's what I'll say about Yankees Jays. I think if one of these teams blows it open, it's likely the Yankees. If Bieber keeps them in the game, Yanks might have to win a game 2-1, 3-1, 4-2, something like that. So I'm really not trying to talk someone off of an under if that's the way you want to go with it. Me personally, I do think I think the Yankees could put a crooked number up. So I probably want no part of an under at 7.5, which is a tough number to that's, that you're only like an big inning or 2 away from that being over. On the flip side, I think the far better total bet. For me, the better total bet is in that first game. I think you're going to see some runs. I like the over in the first game and the Yankees in the second game. I'll land on that right here. I think I can kind of confidently say that.
Sounds good. Well, we can wrap it up there then. I guess people don't want to hear us talk about.
Do you have something locked in, TB? Do you have something locked in?
I do. I have a MLB play up today for $5. Remember, guys, it's $5 Tuesday. And also, Wager Talk allows us to put all of our MLB bets up for $9 for the rest of the season. Today they're $5. But also Adam and I do Korean baseball and I do Japanese baseball. We're allowed to price those at half price. Even 5% plays, we sell them for $14.50 instead of $35. So take a look at what we got daily, because KBO playoffs are heating up, and I won Samsung yesterday, which I was pretty happy.
Very nice.
They came back and took the win. Wante-in is just a better pitcher than Allen, so I couldn't believe the odds for that. So
I kicking myself for not playing that. Basically, I kind of leaned towards Samsung in the first game, stayed off of it. I'm glad I did, because of course NC won, and I was like, man, do I tempt? I mean, they were so hot going into that game, but I did lean your way. I'm glad you got the win there. I kind of knew they would probably use Gerson Garabito in relief. They did. So
they did.
Great bet that was a great bet on Samsung, in my opinion. In hindsight, I was kicking myself for not playing that. So
sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
The quirky way that the KBO does their playoffs is the team that finished the regular season higher gets an automatic win to start. So all Samsung had to do was win 1 out of 2 to move on. Next they play SSG day after tomorrow. SSG is probably going to start with Anderson, I imagine. That's their best pitcher, right?
We are at the point where that will be a 5-game series. So I was going to say, the discount we have for the Korean baseball plays are discounted as well. And we'll both probably be in action in the KBO playoffs. That starts Thursday.
Sure.
I don't know if I'm going to I don't know if I'll have a client MLB play today. If I do, it'll be up as part of $5 Tuesday, but I will likely lock in at least one football play. I did win with the Jaguars last night.
Wow.
Crazy game. Yeah. I mean, I felt like plus 3.5 should have been good regardless, even though it was looking like I was going to get hooked at the end. But Trevor Lawrence was laying on the ground, got up and walked into the end zone. Crazy. One of the crazier plays I've seen. So I will have at least something up. It'll likely be a football play. But who knows? I may find a way to play the Yankees because that's what I'll be doing the next couple hours is seeing how I can stomach potentially playing one of these 2 games today. But hey, that's what I was talking. Listen, we're at the point in the year. There's 2 baseball games a day, maybe 3 or 4. Like it's going to be tough to find really good spots. So you just got to kind of let them come to you. And if it's not there, you move on to the next day. I will say this though. Someone asked about the show parlay. So we're going to end the show on this. I said on Monday that because we're down to 2 games a day, we're retiring the parlay, plus 5.35 units on the year. It was a great year. The fact that we made it this far and are ahead is huge. We're bringing it back for one day, and that's going to be tomorrow. The reason is we already are guaranteed a minimum of 3 games, no matter what happens in Mariners, Tigers. We'll have them, and if the Yankees win, we'll have 4 games. So we will bring the show parlay back tomorrow, where we have Bryan Leonard's going to be back. We've got the full slate, 3 or 4 games. So, less filibuster tomorrow, if you will.
If Bryan were here, we certainly would not be talking about drinks and stuff because he won't let us. He likes to get down to business.
we just like to hang with you guys for an hour, talk some baseball. We had 2 games to break down today. We got to enjoy it because listen, in a couple of weeks, we're not going to have any baseball to talk about until March. So we'll see you guys in the morning. Good luck if you decide to get involved today. Remember, $5 Tuesday site wide. I think the shout out to my buddy Andrew McKinnis. He started a show. I think they're going later. I think it's like a late show. It's like a night before type thing. If you're into the NHL, of course, Carm and Prez and the crew, or Carm and whoever does the Puck Time show is going to be back. I think the NHL starts tonight. Admittedly, just not something I follow, but I'm pretty sure the NHL starts tonight. So if you're looking for hockey plays, everyone has a $5 play up. So there's something out there if it's not one of us. Yeah.
I think it's Carm, Buster, and Andrew. And I think they're going to try something like an in-game live kind of thing. Might be interesting.
Very cool. Yeah. Jacob says, how about them jumbo shrimp? Yeah. Jacksonville jumbo shrimp, the AAA champions this year. And hey, who would have thought that? We only talked about how good the Marlins farm system was on this show for months, and they won the AAA. They won the AAA champs. Colin Gregory says, great show. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you, Colin, tuning in all year. All of you guys in the chat, very much appreciated. Let's enjoy 2 baseball games today, and we'll be back to break down all the games tomorrow. Going over to the replay, like and subscribe. We still do need the numbers. Still trying to show the bosses that this show was a success. So go like.
We are the ugly stepchild of Wager Talk.
You're not wrong. Just saying, you're not wrong. All right. We'll see you guys in the morning. Thanks for hanging with us today. Good luck. See you guys tomorrow.